From sharpened teeth to mile-long hair and buttered beards, these are the world's wildest beauty standards you've never seen. If you ever meet the Apatani women, the first thing you'll likely notice are their astonishingly unusual nose plugs. Yes, you heard it right. Wooden nose plugs inserted directly into their nostrils. And believe it or not, this incredible custom was considered the ultimate mark of beauty and identity. This remarkable practice dates back generations, to a time when the Apatani tribe sought to protect their women from unwanted attention from neighboring tribes. Elders reasoned that modifying women's appearance with striking nose ornaments would discourage rivals, keeping their tribe safe and unified. What began as protection slowly turned into admiration, eventually becoming a key symbol of elegance, maturity, and pride. As young Apatani girls reached adolescence, the tribe would perform a careful ritual where specially crafted wooden plugs were inserted into each side of their nostrils. Over time, larger plugs replaced the original ones, gradually stretching the nostrils into a distinctly prominent shape. Once fully grown, these wooden nose plugs were around 1 inch in diameter, and each woman wore them proudly as a lifelong decoration. Today, the tradition of nose plugs is slowly fading away, as younger generations choose more contemporary beauty styles. Yet, older Apatani women proudly continue wearing their nose ornaments, preserving the culture and heritage of their ancestors. Tourists from around the globe still trek through the hills to witness firsthand these last keepers of a mesmerizing beauty ritual. Even as the world changes rapidly, these Apatani women serve as living icons of a stunning cultural legacy. Let's jump from the hills of India to the graceful past of Japan, where one of the strangest beauty standards in history once reigned supreme: blackened teeth. Yes, black, on purpose. Known as ohaguro, this practice involved women, especially married ones or those from aristocratic families, painting their teeth a deep glossy black. In a society where pale skin and long dark hair were idealized, pitch-black teeth created a contrast that was seen as elegant, mysterious, and mature. The dye was made from a mix of iron filings and vinegar, safe but not exactly minty fresh. Women would reapply it regularly to keep the shine and color intact. At the time, showing white teeth was associated with demons or wild animals, while blackened teeth symbolized refinement and loyalty. It wasn't just limited to women either. Men of high status sometimes adopted the look too. The effect was so striking that even centuries later it still turns heads in historical photos. As Western influence spread in Japan, ohaguro faded out, and white teeth made a comeback. But the memory of this deep, ink-like smile still lingers, reminding us how wildly different the idea of beauty can be depending on the time and place. Now let's head to Papua New Guinea, where skin tells stories, literally. Among the Chambri people, decorative scarring isn't just body art, it's a visual language of identity, courage, and belonging. These aren't random marks. They're carefully carved patterns made during ceremonies that celebrate adulthood, spirituality, and heritage. And believe it or not, the resulting raised scars are considered absolutely beautiful. For Chambri women, the scars are often created in rows or geometric shapes across the chest, back, or arms. It's not about pain, it's about pride. These scars are worn like jewelry, a permanent design etched into the body that carries meaning far beyond looks. They can signal tribal status, personal milestones, or family ties. In some cases, young people undergo these rituals to honor ancestors and prove their strength. The scarring process is incredibly precise. Tools are handmade and the cuts must be exact. When they heal, the raised skin creates intricate textures that shimmer in sunlight. In Chambri culture, these scars are a symbol of resilience and inner strength. To outsiders, it might seem intense, but to the Chambri, it's simply stunning. From marked skin to sculpted hair, we travel now to Ethiopia's Afar people, where style meets tradition in a rich, creamy form butter. In this desert region, men take grooming seriously. Beards and hair are molded with a special mixture of butter and sometimes red ochre, turning their heads into bold, living sculptures. The look is dramatic, the scent is rich, and the cultural meaning runs deep. You might think this is just for show, but there's function behind the fashion. Butter protects hair and skin from the scorching sun and harsh winds of the Afar desert. At the same time, it helps shape elaborate styles that show off strength, masculinity, and pride. Some styles are slicked straight up, others are braided or twisted into spikes. Beards are often coated in the same buttery mix, giving them a gleaming finish that catches the light. For young Afar men, a well-shaped hairstyle is as important as any status symbol. It signals maturity, readiness for marriage, and confidence. These looks take time to perfect and require regular upkeep, turning self-grooming into an art form. In a culture where every detail tells a story, the Afar men wear their buttered crowns with bold pride, and it's nothing short of iconic. Next, we head to the dry, sun-drenched lands of northern Namibia, where the Himba women have created one of the most visually striking beauty rituals on Earth. Every day these women coat their entire bodies, and even their hair, in a thick reddish paste called otjis. It's made from butterfat and pulverized red ochre stone, and it turns their skin a deep glowing shade of red. But this isn't just for looks, it's practical too. The otjis paste protects their skin from the brutal desert sun and keeps it moisturized in the dry air. It even helps repel insects. But over time it evolved from necessity into an iconic expression of identity and feminine beauty. The bold color is seen as a symbol of life and earth. Their hair is shaped into intricate styles coated in the same mixture, often decorated with beads or shells. This isn't a quick routine either, it can take hours. But it's not a chore, it's a ritual. Women gather in small groups, laughing and talking while applying the ochre together. It connects generations, preserves culture, and turns every Himba woman into a living work of art. Outsiders may see it as extreme, but in their world, this is elegance, pride, and power all rolled into one. From red skin to red teeth, we're now in the Philippines, among the Bagobo people, where beauty once came in shades that would surprise most modern viewers. For generations, Bagobo men and women stained their teeth with plant-based dyes to make them appear black, reddish, or even deep orange. Far from being a shocking sight, these colors were considered beautiful, noble, and even romantic. The pigments were usually made from natural tree sap or crushed plant roots. Applying the dye wasn't just for special occasions, it was part of daily grooming. In some cases, the teeth were filed down into smoother or more pointed shapes before being painted, adding another layer of detail to the look. The final result? A smile that stood out, especially when paired with their colorful traditional clothing and accessories. Why go through all this? In Bagobo culture, black or red teeth were seen as a sign of refinement and dignity. White teeth, oddly enough, were sometimes associated with animals or spirits. So people chose color not just for looks but to show their connection to community, values, and beauty ideals that had been passed down for centuries. We return now to Japan, but this time to its northernmost reaches where the Ainu people created a striking look that once defined feminine beauty-tattooed lips. Among Ainu women, black tattoos weren't hidden on the body. They were drawn boldly across the mouth and cheeks. Starting from childhood, girls had small tattoos placed around the lips. As they grew older, the designs expanded, eventually circling the entire mouth in a dark geometric frame. These tattoos weren't decorative in the modern sense. They were symbols of womanhood, protection, and tribal identity. The ink was made from soot and plant sap, applied with traditional tools that left permanent marks. Getting the tattoos was a gradual process, completed over years, and reaching the full design often marked the transition into adulthood or marriage. To the Ainu, these tattoos were beautiful, sacred, and filled with meaning. They were said to protect the wearer from evil spirits and sickness. The bold contrast of black ink on fair skin became a visual hallmark of Ainu culture. Though the practice was banned during Japan's modernization efforts in the 20th century, old photos and oral histories keep the memory of this stunning beauty tradition alive. While the world knows the Kayan women of Myanmar for their long, ring-stacked necks, what many miss is a lesser-known but equally eye-catching tradition: leg coils worn by Kayan men. Though not as widely practiced or as visually dramatic as the neck rings, these leg adornments were once considered symbols of strength, heritage, and masculine elegance within certain Kayan communities. Brass or metal coils were wrapped tightly around the calves, adding weight and pressure that subtly reshaped the legs over time. The look was bold, and the metal shimmered under sunlight as the men walked through the villages. These coils weren't random accessories. They reflected personal status, cultural identity, and a commitment to preserving tribal aesthetics. The process of wearing them wasn't quick. Just like the women's neck rings, the leg coils were gradually added over time, sometimes in early adulthood. They required maintenance, balance, and pride. And though the tradition is nearly extinct today, it still survives in old photos and stories passed through generations. It's one of those beauty practices that might seem wild to outsiders, but made perfect sense within its cultural world. Let's rewind a few hundred years to Imperial China, where beauty and status could be measured, literally, by the length of your fingernails. Among the upper class, especially scholars and nobles, growing long, curved fingernails wasn't just a fashion choice. It was a statement. It told the world, I don't do manual labor. I live a life of refinement. Some of these nails grew over 3 inches long, curling like ribbons. And because they were so delicate, many wore nail guards made of gold, silver, or jade to protect them. These elaborate guards were often encrusted with gems and etched with symbols, adding even more prestige to the look. Women, too, embraced this style, especially in the royal court. Their nails became part of their elegance, polished and protected as they moved gracefully through their duties. Today it's hard to picture someone managing daily life with nails that long, but back then, it was the ultimate luxury. You didn't need to do anything, your nails did all the talking. Now let's jump to the banks of the Omo River in Ethiopia, where the Karo tribe turns the human body into a living, breathing canvas. Forget paintbrushes and walls, here people paint themselves. Using chalk, ash, red ochre and crushed stone, both men and women decorate their faces, torsos and limbs with bold graphic designs that change almost daily. This body art isn't just for beauty, though it absolutely stuns. It's also about identity, courtship and storytelling. The patterns range from delicate dots to bold stripes and swirls, and every stroke has meaning. Before ceremonies, dances, or even just socializing, individuals apply these designs to express mood, status, or even flirtation. Young men in particular use body painting to attract partners. A striking, freshly painted design is their version of dressing sharp for a date. And when you see them standing tall under the sun, their skin covered in white and red patterns, it's easy to see why this form of beauty turns heads. The Karo don't just wear art, they become it. In the high mountain villages of Tajikistan, something most people try to pluck, thread, or wax away is actually considered a rare gem of beauty, a unibrow. Yes, for many Tajik women a naturally connected brow isn't just accepted, it's admired. It's seen as a sign of purity, strong character, and good fortune. And if nature didn't provide one, don't worry. There's a fix for that. Women have been known to use herbs, homemade pigments, and even eyebrow pencils to draw a unibrow into place. Young girls sometimes start enhancing theirs early, encouraged by mothers and grandmothers who grew up valuing the same trait. In some areas, the unibrow is so strongly associated with femininity that it can play a role in marriage prospects. This tradition is especially strong in rural regions, where cultural customs remain closely tied to older generations. And while beauty trends around the world shift constantly, this one has quietly stood its ground. What the global fashion world often labels as imperfection is, in Tajik culture, a thing of true grace. It's a reminder that beauty can live in the places we least expect. Let's head back to Japan, modern-day Tokyo this time, where the fashion spotlight has landed on something almost no one would expect: crooked teeth. Known as yaeba, these slightly misaligned, pointy canines are celebrated for giving women a youthful, cute, and approachable look. Unlike much of the world where straight, polished smiles are the ideal, here, a bit of imperfection makes the whole face more charming. Some people are even getting cosmetic procedures to create the effect. Dentists offer temporary or permanent yaeba, placing small caps or reshaping the teeth just enough to mimic a natural, slightly uneven grin. It's not cheap, but for those who want the look, it's worth it. The appeal, it's playful, innocent, and full of personality. This trend became especially popular with the rise of certain pop idols and models, whose slightly crooked teeth sparked massive fan followings. Yaeba isn't seen as flawed, it's relatable. It softens the image, adds uniqueness, and proves that perfect symmetry isn't always the goal. In a world obsessed with filters and flawlessness, Yaeba is a breath of fresh, slightly tilted air. In the arid deserts of Sudan and Eritrea, beauty hides in plain sight, literally. Among the Rashida people, women are rarely seen without their richly adorned face veils, known as burqa. But these aren't ordinary coverings. They're masterpieces of embroidery, often made of black fabric and decorated with gold thread, beads, and intricate stitching that turn every veil into a personal statement. The veils are more than fashion. They reflect cultural identity, social status, and even personal style. Some are handed down through generations while others are custom-made for special occasions like weddings. The more detailed and decorative the veil, the more respected the woman wearing it. In many Rashida communities, a beautifully crafted veil can say more than 1,000 words. Behind the veil, women express themselves in other subtle ways, through jewelry, hand henna, and bright fabrics layered beneath their black outer garments. What's especially fascinating is that in a world obsessed with revealing more, here, covering up is the essence of allure. Beauty, in the Rashida tradition, is mysterious, proud, and wrapped in tradition. In the heart of Africa, beauty traditions are bold and unforgettable. On the left, a woman wears iconic brass rings that have gracefully stretched her neck, a real symbol of elegance and identity. On the right, a striking look that turns heads, but it's not what it seems. That unusual nosepiece, it's actually a decorative ornament, likely crafted for performance or photography. An exaggerated accessory, not a tribal custom. Still, both images show just how creative and powerful beauty expression can be across the continent. On the remote Mentawai Islands off the coast of Sumatra, the idea of a perfect smile is nothing like what you'd see in a toothpaste commercial. For women of the Mentawai tribe, beauty is expressed through sharpened teeth, carefully filed into fine, pointed shapes. This isn't a painful horror story, it's a time-honored tradition done with care, purpose, and a sense of pride. The process is usually performed by skilled elders using simple tools and herbal remedies. It's a quiet ritual, done in stages, and for those who choose it, the result is considered stunning. Sharpened teeth represent spiritual harmony, maturity, and a strong connection to the ancestral world. In the eyes of the tribe, they add a fierce elegance to a woman's appearance. This practice is slowly disappearing, but older women still wear their sharpened smiles with confidence. Now let's head to the far south, where the Maori of New Zealand have turned skin into sacred art. For Maori men and women alike, the traditional facial tattoos, known as tomoko, aren't just beautiful. They're powerful markers of identity, ancestry, and personal history, and no two designs are ever the same. The tattoos are carved into the skin using chisels, leaving grooves rather than flat lines. For Maori women, the most common tattoo is the moko kawai, a striking design on the chin and lower lip that signals social standing, wisdom, and respect within the community. Getting one is an emotional and spiritual moment, often performed in ceremony. These tattoos are deeply respected even today. Modern Maori artists still practice tomoko, combining tradition with contemporary tools and ink. In a quiet village tucked deep in the mountains of southern China, a group of women has turned hair into a legacy. These are the Yao women of Huangluo, known across the world for having some of the longest hair on earth. We're not talking waist length. We're talking hair that often reaches 6 feet long, sometimes longer than the women themselves. And no, this isn't just by chance. It's the result of a lifelong ritual of care, pride, and tradition. For the Yao, hair isn't just about beauty, it's sacred. It represents luck, long life, and prosperity. Cutting it off is nearly unthinkable. In fact, most Yao women only cut their hair once in their lives, around age 18, as part of a ceremonial coming-of-age tradition. But even then, the cut hair isn't thrown away. It's saved, wrapped, and later worn with their natural hair, to give it even more volume and symbolism. Washing it is a whole event. The women use a special homemade shampoo made from fermented rice water, believed to strengthen and preserve the hair's shine and thickness. This traditional formula has been passed down for generations, and is so effective that many of the village's women don't go gray until their 70s or 80s. Their long, jet-black hair is tied, twisted, and piled high on their heads in elaborate styles that show their age and marital status at a glance. In this village, your hair tells your life story. Are you single? Married? Do you have children? Just one look at how a woman wears her hair, and you'll know. It's practical, beautiful, and deeply meaningful, all wrapped up in the same flowing strands. While most of the world struggles with split ends or tangled curls, the Yao women treat hair like a crown they never take off. And when they undo it and let it fall like a black waterfall to the ground, it's not just eye-catching, it's breathtaking. In the heart of Myanmar, beauty glows from a soft, pale yellow paste brushed across cheeks, noses, and foreheads. It's called Thanaka, a traditional cosmetic that's been used for over 2,000 years, and it's everywhere. Walk through any village or city in Myanmar, and you'll see women, children, and even some men with unique, creamy patterns spread across their faces. It's one of the most iconic and cherished beauty rituals in the country. Thanaka isn't just for show, though it absolutely stands out. The paste is made by grinding the bark of certain trees, mostly from the Thanaka tree, against a stone slab with water until it forms a smooth, fragrant mixture. The result? A soft, cooling mask that protects the skin from the sun, reduces oil, and even acts as an anti-aging treatment. It's nature's sunscreen and skincare rolled into one. But in Myanmar, Thanaka also plays a big role in appearance. The pale yellow hue lightens and evens out skin tone, and in a society where fair skin is often seen as a sign of refinement, it's embraced by people of all ages. Women carefully apply it in circular or leaf-shaped designs, making their faces look both artistic and graceful. What makes Thanaka truly fascinating is how personal it is. Some wear it for tradition, others for fashion. It can be applied quickly for daily errands or in intricate patterns for festivals and celebrations. And despite global beauty trends pushing toward modern cosmetics, Thanaka has held its ground. It's more than a beauty product, it's a daily ritual, a cultural symbol, and a connection to heritage. In South Korea, beauty is a billion-dollar industry, but one standard stands above the rest: pale, flawless skin. Not just light, but nearly porcelain. For many Koreans, this isn't just a beauty preference, it's a symbol of elegance, youth, and refinement. It's deeply tied to history, where tan skin was once associated with outdoor labor, while pale complexions were linked to wealth and high status. Today, that idea has evolved into an entire lifestyle. Skincare routines can involve 10 or more steps, featuring brightening serums, whitening creams, and sunscreens with the highest protection levels. People go to great lengths to avoid tanning. You'll see sun umbrellas, hats, sleeves, even full-face visors on sunny days. Whitening isn't about changing identity, it's about achieving that soft, glowing skin that looks clean, youthful, and delicate. The look is so popular that it's also reflected in South Korea's pop culture. K-pop idols, actors, and influencers often have bright, pale complexions that set the tone for beauty trends. Cosmetic companies continue to launch products that promise the glass skin effect, poreless, bright, and radiant. But it's not just about the products. It's about control, discipline, and presentation. A clear, light complexion is seen as a sign that someone takes care of themselves. It's one of the most sought-after beauty traits in South Korea, and a powerful part of its beauty culture today. That's about it. Which standards of beauty did you find the craziest? Let me know in the comments. For more useful information, watch other videos.